Hello and welcome back to NJCDC's The Loft. Today we welcome back NJ4S. We have a couple new faces in the studio today. Can we go around and introduce ourselves, please?
My name is Rahmeek J. Pacheco.
And I am Jennifer Rivas.
Welcome to the studio, first and foremost.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, of course. Can you just give us a little bio on yourselves? Tell us who you are, how you came to be here in the studio today.
Ladies first.
I appreciate that. We are here from NJ4S. We are both prevention consultants. I have the pleasure of being a photographer for the city of Patterson, born and raised. And overall, we do workshops right, similar to this. In our role, we focus on mental health, healthy habits. And so it's a pleasure to be here today.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And then as for me, I'm a music lover, but I'm also a photographer as well too. But music was always my first love. It's been something that geared me into going back to the youth and actually worrying about mental health. College, it was one of those things that I actually wanted to become a rapper. But I pursued doing photography, and it was one of those things that I wanted to bring to NJ4S and music as well, to give kids and young youth opportunity to actually come outside their shell and actually use music as a therapy.
Yeah.
Not something that they listen to it and it become destructive. It'd be something that could be positive for them.
So how did you find NJ4S to begin with?
So NJ4S, funny story. So NJ4S was basically not for me, per se.
Okay.
My wife now was going to actually apply for NJ4S. What ended up happening is she knows I was going through a transition moment, and she was like, "You'd be good for this." And I'm glad she did, because NJ4S opened up a lot of doors for me that I kind of knew already, but it was also one of those things that I'm glad I got into. I also have a background in working with autistic, so it was like one of those things that it just kind of came all together, that what it needed to be. So that's how I found NJ4S, and I'm glad I did. I'm really, really glad I did.
Yeah, and I'm glad you did too, because now you're sitting here with me talking on the podcast. So
Exactly.
Can you also give us a little bit, Jennifer, on how you got, how you found yourself at NJ4S?
Yeah, absolutely. I also have experience of working with youth, right? Students, long line educator. And I used to work for CCSP. Before working for CCSP, I was actually a parent. I've been partnered with NJCDC for quite some time, not only as a parent, not only as a former educator, but now as a prevention consultant. And
Awesome.
so, yeah.
That's great. So the purpose of this podcast today is I kind of want to talk about your creative kind of talents and how you're using it in your program and whatnot, and kind of the importance of these creative skills in general, and how the youth themselves can use their own creative talents. And so the first thing I want to ask you guys, whoever wants to go first, how did you first start using your art, whether it was like photography or music, as more than just a hobby?
I can't help but to notice your flask. I went to Montclair State University.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, in my freshman year, I had a elective. I didn't choose; they gave it to me. It was a film photography course.
Nice.
Yeah, so we used dark rooms and film, and it opened my eyes to seeing. To me, photography is the art of seeing, and so taking this class my freshman year, it kind of foreshadowed my future. Capturing the moment is something that matters to me, and so. Here we gradually, first personal, and then now it's business for me. And now I have the pleasure of teaching through NJ4S, teaching through the opportunities that come across my way, whether it's NJCDC, whether it's through a referral.
Okay.
It's a passion.
And when you teach, how does that look like?
Yeah. Well, I recently received a mini grant from NJCDC.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had the pleasure of running Picture Patterson.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. I know. It's funny that you mentioned Picture Patterson and Montclair State, because as you know, I'm a Montclair alum, and I went to Montclair for communication and media arts, and there's a professor there. Do you have Thomas Franklin around?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of his work.
Yeah.
Actually.
Oh, okay. Yo, I love Professor Franklin. He's great.
Yeah, he's a great photographer. I see the work that he does through NJCDC for our community of Patterson, and I am a big fan. One day I did reach out to him to let him know that I was an alumni and I'm looking to run a program. We didn't get to collaborate, but it's something that we connected with. Absolutely.
Okay, but I know Thomas Franklin is a big supporter of Patterson in general. You know what I mean? So, and he's also connected to NJCDC. So I think of Montclair State, I think NJCDC, I think of like the communications department, I think Thomas Franklin, right? So I had to throw it out there. I had to throw it out there.
Thank you.
Yeah, but that's great though. How about you and your endeavors?
So I'm gonna take it way back.
Okay,
Way back.
Let's go way back.
So high school was a hard time for me. I would say maybe my junior year going to senior year. And music actually helped me. So that's what I fell in love with music. I always loved music. Love rap, love R&B, hip hop, you name it, I love it. But it was something about music at that time, at my lowest time, that I connected with even more. Jennifer knows I like being in the dark. I put music on and I just feel in my element. And everything just feels so tranquil and quiet and peaceful. So during that time, I was like, you know what? I could turn this passion into like a career. Yeah. That career didn't happen. I didn't become a rapper at all. Okay. At all. I did do a couple songs when I was in high school and it did help me a lot. Fast forward, I went to college. I'm not from Patterson, but I'm glad I'm to be here now in Patterson. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I went to a school called SUNY Westbury and they had a media communication.
There you go.
So that's where we connect
Yeah,
that.
we're all like got the same degree. All right, let's go.
So my freshman year, I was like, what is media communication? What am I getting myself into? But I always knew it had something to tie in with music. Fast forward my junior year, I took a radio class. And that's when my eyes opened up. Yeah. This is something I can also do, be a mentor, give people the opportunity, talk about it, and actually be good at it. That didn't happen. Okay. But I always had that passion there. And what ended up happening was my final year being at Old West, I took an intro to photography class. Didn't know nothing about photography, but that would spark my interest as well. And I said, you know what? I could combine music and photography. I know they got videographers and everything, but how can I put those two together? Yeah. And what ended up happening was I started working with the youth. So we did Step and Stroll. I taught them that they can control their emotions through music and not actually be aggressive. Music is aggressive sometimes, but if you know how to hone in on the beat, the rhythm, the sound, everything that comes with music, it just takes over you and you can calm down. Yeah. A lot of people don't understand that. They just feel like music is aggressive, and it's not. Photography is not aggressive. I like capturing in a moment. Every movement of somebody doing a movement, anything like that, I feel like is art to me. So that's 100%. Why I connect with Jennifer so much about it. You know, she capturing the moment, but I love catching people off guard because sometimes when you catch people off guard, it's like their genuine self. Yeah. And that's the same thing with music. So when you tie those two together, giving it to the youth, you give them the keys to actually create their own picture, their own canvas. The world is our canvas. Music could be our canvas. Photos could be our canvas. We combine those two together, kids will have a whole opportunity to actually voice their opinion. Hey, this is how I'm feeling today. Yeah. This is what I see the world today. It might be black and white. I might feel gray today. I might feel aggressive today, but at least I can share that emotion out that I do not feel like I want to hurt somebody or I want to hurt myself. So that's kind of why it came together for me. And that's something I'm really passionate about.
It's funny that you mentioned like the radio, right? Or that's kind of what sparked your interest. Because I feel like, so for me, right, personally, I kind of connected to what you were saying because I wasn't always super media forward. I wasn't like, okay, I'm going to do like what I do now. Right. And to kind of answer the question myself, right? So I was in Montclair State, like I said. I wasn't sure, this is really funny, actually. This wasn't even planned. But I was undercleared for my first 2 years. And I was either going to do music or I was going to go into communications. Okay. Right. Which is obviously I got the two paths right here, accidentally. But eventually, like, what basically got me to Montclair State in the first place was because they had a radio station there, and I listened to them like in 8th grade. Before I went to high school, I listened to them, and I went to a journalism program the summer of my senior year of high school, right before school started. I did a journalism program in Montclair. And I met Thomas Franklin. I met like a bunch of people at the radio station. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is like kind of for me. And that's what kind of planted the seed of creativity that kind of blossomed to what it is now, right? And now I eventually decided to go into communications. I went to the radio station and did some things there. And now I like the skills that I have now. I use here in the studio, and that's basically how this came to be. So
I love that.
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I love that. See, I was talking to Jennifer about this before. I was like, I did the radio show and I was supposed to have a show and I never capitalized on it. So I look back now and I wish I did. I really wish I did. And my topic was going to be for unsigned artists.
Oh,
and he
man.
was going to come to the radio station. And I had a lot of unsigned artists who wanted to come, but I just never did it.
But you know what, though? Because of that experience, it definitely unlocked that kind of part of your brain, that little creative part of your brain. That's also wanted to get into with like the students in particular, right? Because, you know, when it comes to creating stuff, I remember like before I started like working into like video editing, doing post-production stuff with like filmmaking and you know, and things of that nature. And I remember when I was getting into it and I was learning these tools, I was in Adobe learning all like Premiere Pro and Photoshop and all these things. And eventually you realize like, wow, wait a second. I could literally do anything with these softwares, with these tools creatively. I can do so much, right? And because of that, I was able to, that kind of opened my mind to the possibilities that, to what's possible of what I can do creatively. You know what I mean? And I've seen that with this podcast at times too, with, when we bring in students here and they're not, you know, they're not used to these lights and they're not used to like the microphones and hearing themselves speak and all that. And then when they come in here and they're like, wait a second, this is actually really cool. It opens them to this new kind of format of creativity that they can try to put some stock into. And then they can, like, you know, like you said, kind of use their voices or have their voices heard. You know what I mean? Right. So I definitely agree with kind of what you were saying, the sentiment you were saying there.
Yeah, that's kind of, I like that you said that, because that's actually something that I really wanted. That's what I kind of want to bring up across when it comes to the youth. A lot of us growing up, we don't get to experience things like this. So it's very good to actually have a podcast here or actually get exposed to a podcast or radio or music, because it can open up millions of doors, internships, college, just connections itself. Yeah. And the youth kind of need that, because sometimes where we live at, our environment, some people put us and categorize us into that little box. And then sometimes you have to find something else, like an alternative. So I really appreciate you doing this, especially for the youth.
Of course. I mean, hey, you guys are doing great work too. You know what I mean? So
thank you.
So I'll bring it right back to you. You know, give you your flowers.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, and I appreciate both your origin stories. It actually makes me wonder how even further back, right? Because photography is the art of seeing, and despite me starting my freshman year of college, I was always the picture taker of my family, right? So sometimes we have these skills that are embedded at us way before. They're embedded way before we recognize that they are. And in my case, it was being the family picture taker, right? Or maybe I love clouds, right? Maybe capturing sunsets. Yeah. Many people admire that. And that's the story of actually my origin story of my cloud capture photography, right? What gave me the ammo to start Picture Patterson. It's based on the premise that just like clouds, they are always beautiful, no matter the weather, similar to us.
Yeah.
And so that is my ideology with photography. That's why I always appreciate the candid moments, because we're not always perfect, but we always matter.
Yeah.
I love that.
There you go. That's good.
That is.
That's some fire.
Fire right?
Yeah. All right. So this question's more so for Jennifer, but you can hop in if you want to.
Gotcha.
So what do your photos help you process, and what do you hope they show others?
For me, taking photos allow an opportunity to be mindful, right? To really stop in a moment, to really observe what is. Maybe it's waiting for the perfect moment, a plane to stop by. Maybe it's waiting for a cloud to go by. Maybe it's waiting for a sunbeam, right? Overcast. So it involves a lot of patience, a lot of mindfulness. Right. And a lot of intent, that sometimes there is beauty around us. We just have to see it.
Yeah.
And so it helps me process life, right? Taking a moment to pause.
I mean, photography for me is similar to that, but I love the moment. Sometimes when you capture the moment, you kind of get that person's reaction, their feelings, and you kind of feel it through the lens. And then you keep taking a picture. And I don't know if that's what you feel as well too. As you keep taking that picture, you kind of get the sense of how they feel in their body movements. And that's so important to me, because that becomes patient, that becomes determined, you're ambitious, and you look at all those things like, okay, they actually want to be determined to get this picture right.
Yeah.
But let me capture the behind the scenes so you can see where it leads up to. And that is just the beauty of the art of going through a lens.
Yeah.
Is actually leading up to actually seeing what the final project will actually be or the final outcome. So that's how I love photography and how it could be tied into mental health, because it's not a race. It's not a sprint. It's about taking this day by day, hour by hour, second by second for things to get done. And see, the final result is what you put into it.
Yeah.
So that's how I tie those two together.
Yeah, most definitely. And it's funny to me too, because I'm not really a photographer, but I've messed mostly with like video, and it's much harder, I feel like, for photography to capture that moment than it is with video, because video is always going. You got like so many pictures a second when you really think about it, right? And so like one of those pictures obviously are going to capture of like these moments that you're talking about, but you have to be much more patient to try to capture photography. I know I would be having a much harder time if I was a photographer, if I didn't go the video route, you know what I mean? So
yeah, and I agree with you say about emotion. I think the beauty of photography is also we can't see ourselves unless we have a mirror, a reflection. A video, of course. The only other way is a photo. And for me, those photos are like stock. It may not matter at the moment, but in the future, when time passes by, it's when you recognize that you captured the moment. And that's worth more than what we can imagine.
yeah,
right?
most definitely.
I agree with that.
So the next question, what's a song or a sound that helps you get through something?
It depending on the moment, and it's depending on my mood.
Okay.
So if I'm angry, I have to listen to R&B music. Like anything R&B, old school, some new school, but old school is mostly the one. If I'm in a good mood, it depending what's on the radio. I know I have my specific song. My wife will say, you listen to the same song over and over again. And it's only because I like depicting a song that I like so much.
Yeah.
So if it's like the words, is it the rhythm? If I feel more of the rhythm, then I want to listen to it again, because that moment, I want to feel that moment throughout my car ride, me and you talking. I want to feel that the whole time. So that's kind of something that gets me through like my tough times, my dark times sometimes, because we all have dark days.
Yeah.
So music is certain songs. It depends on the mood and the time. If the time is right, then you might get a different song from me. If it's lighter time, you might get a different person or personality when it comes to the music. So
okay. So if I ever listen to R&B, I'm just gonna back up and you're like, all right, let me just calm down. Let me so old school.
Oh yeah. I'll back away for a little bit. I'll close my eyes. I'll make sure the room is like real dark, and then I get in my element at that moment. It's like, hey, you see a different person. And then when you talk about music with me in general, like I don't know if a lot of people seen it. It brings something out of me. I love talking about music. Because I love the essence of music and how it started in the way backgrounds from it. Hip hop, R&B all have a different origin from itself. Same rhythm, same sound, but a different meaning. You know, it's categorized, generalized in different categories. So that brings a different element out of it itself. Like, wow, hip hop is this, R&B is this, reggaeton is this, dembow is this, and all those things it plays a factor into how somebody feels.
But you know what too? I feel like a lot of people can connect to that though, because I'm sure like we all have different certain songs. I don't know about different like specific genres maybe, but I know specifics like songs. If you're in a sad mood, you could listen to this song that you like, or if you're in a happy mood, you could listen to this song. And I feel like a lot of people, especially, well, I guess if you listen to music often, right, you don't need to be like a producer or anything like that, but like I feel like that's something pretty common. You know what I mean? I think that's like also like just a good outlet for like, or anyone really, like youth or adults or whatever to try to come to terms with like their feelings and whatnot, you know?
Let's try this. Jennifer, how do you feel right now, and how can I relate to a song that you like to listen to?
It's funny you ask, because I'm here sitting thinking that music can certainly evoke a certain emotion.
Right.
Talk about on the spot.
On the spot.
Yeah, you're doing it right now.
Yeah.
You're doing it live.
The moment how you feel right now, and what song correlates with it?
The Kanye West lights, camera, action.
Okay.
Lights, the lights.
Yeah, it's not bad. Not bad.
How about you, Danny?
About me? Oh man, I knew you were gonna put me on the spot next, but I should have been thinking instead of like piggybacking off you. Oh man. How about you? I'm gonna throw it back to you before you throw it back to me.
So Right now, I'm happy.
Okay.
A few minutes ago, I was a little angry, but I'll be happy
Let's
because
go.
this is like my element. My favorite artist is Joey. I can't say his name because it's a curse word, but
Okay.
but his song ABK
Okay.
is how I'm feeling right now. Is the true essence of Brooklyn and how grimy and gutter it is. It's like I feel so related to it. You know, living in Jersey, I kind of get homesick sometimes. So actually hearing music from Brooklyn or actually seeing things from Brooklyn actually bring me back to that essence of that gritty, that oh my God, he just said that his lyric. Oh, I feel that right now.
Yeah.
Just because I'm not there, it just takes me back to that time. I know where he's at. I know what he's thinking. I know what I'm thinking at that moment. I could connect to you at that.
And I mean, you're not angry because it sounds like
I'm not angry now, but before I was. But
okay, but that's the song. It was for angry or right now?
For right now,
right now. Because I thought that sounds like maybe like angry. The way
no, but angry would be Notorious B.I.G.
Okay.
Anything big, that would be
yeah.
me and how I'm feeling and how it just like.
When you were describing that, that's what I was thinking. So I mean, that makes sense.
So it's dependent. Like I said, how the question before, depending on my emotion, I could go to Biggie. Or I could go to my favorite artist and be okay with it. It's just dependent. And they both, and the funny thing about it is when I'm angry, music does the opposite to me. It brings me back. It calms me down.
Yeah.
I don't have to be mad no more. Oh, I just forget about it most of the time. But music is mostly the one that brings it back together.
I feel like music for me can like really feed any mood that I'm in, and that could be used for better or for worse. Like if I'm feeling like a bad, like in the like a negative emotion or something, and I'm like, okay, I should calm down. But I'm listening to this song instead, and that's kind of feeding that negative thing. So I think it could be, you know, I think you have to be careful sometimes. All right, like for me personally, I'm just like, okay, let me calm down. Let me just chill. Let me take a step back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it depends really.
Yeah. So that's why I when we go through seeing our youth, or when we see our significant others or a partner, our friends, and we see them in a certain mood, and we ask them, "What's wrong with you?" They usually look at us like, there's nothing wrong. And then you put a music on or you put a song on and then you see their emotion change.
Yeah. Music can be like therapy.
Exactly. And that's one of those things that's why I love music so much, because you can see how it could change from time to time. It could change somebody's emotion. It could be mad. It could be happy. It could be sad.
Yeah.
You know, and you could bring it all together. And then after that, once you hear that song, you're probably not going to be angry no more.
Yeah.
It's like telling you, calm down. Okay, I understand you mad. Understand you happy, but let's focus in. Let's zoom in. Let's lock in. Let's actually hone into what's happening. Okay, now I want to talk.
Yeah.
Now I actually want to communicate with you. Let's actually get this done.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, sometimes you need that in order to get into that headspace, you know?
Exactly.
So, still didn't think of a song.
Damn.
You know hold on. I could literally just pull up my Spotify right now. I can tell you. You know what? There's this song that I've been listening to on repeat. That's kind of like it's called "Loving Is Easy" by Rex Orange County.
Okay.
Right. I just found it just randomly, and it's kind of the song that has been playing in my head, you know, recently.
Okay.
And so I think that's what I'll choose for the moment, because it's a chill song. It's like, you know what I mean? This is a chill space where we're just, you know, some chill guys.
Yeah.
And girl, you know, there you go. Yeah. So the next thing I want to ask the both of you is, what creative habit that you guys have that makes you feel most like yourself? And whoever wants to take that first.
I would say my creative habit is actually, so for music, for me, I usually let it run through my mind at times before I actually jot it down. Or my creative juices flows when I hear a certain song. So that habit becomes, you know, who I become, what my action would be, what would be my response. Because at that moment, I'm listening to the lyrics and I'm actually like, okay, I could get into, I could feel the creative juices flowing. I could feel all that being of what I needed to be to actually happen. So that I would say just having it in my mind. My mind sometimes go at a million miles per hour, but when I hear that certain song, it slows it down, and then my creative flows just start happening, and then it just becomes one of those things like, oh, I could talk right. I feel better. I'm determined. I'm ambitious. I'm patient, because patience is a big one. And that's what my creative habit comes starting to hone into who I am as a person and anything that I'm starting to create. Because if you don't have patience, determined, and resiliency, that's one of those things that is like, what's the point of being passionate about what you like? What are you doing?
Yeah.
What do you actually want to obtain?
And I witnessed that. I see you listening to music all the time.
There you go.
Yeah.
So pleasure it is.
Yeah.
For me, it's related to photography. It's actually photo walks. Sometimes I might go on a photo walk with no camera, just to see what I can find with my eyes. It may be a lone bird on a wire. It could be maybe a squirrel peeking through its branch. But taking that moment to walk in my neighborhood, or even around work. Yesterday, I walked to the Silk Cafe, right? Just taking a moment to walk around allows me to be mindful of that moment. And it makes me recognize why I start photography, because I mentioned it's a business for me as well, right? But you don't want to be burnt out, right? You want to make sure that you don't lose your passion. And so for me, that might look like being intentional, using my phone if I don't have my camera, taking it for leisure, for joy, for pleasure, rather than profit or business, or maybe it's through other outlets, right? Where a walk, hiking. I like to freak Garrett Mountain.
Mhm.
It's a third space for me. And
Yeah.
so sometimes being in nature, I think that's what it boils down to. Nature allows me to get those creative juices flowing, especially since that is the origin of my photography. It's important for me to not lose sight of that.
No, I understand that. I felt that for sure. I think for me personally, just like how I can listen to music for any mood or any like feeling that I'm feeling. Um, at the same time, I always like pace around like in my room, or like even if it's in here in the studio, I'll just like be. Sometimes I'll just be doing laps. If I'm trying to think of something, trying to figure like something out, an issue, and whenever I'm working on a project, right, and I'm thinking about like. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter what kind of project I'm working on, whether it's like a video project or I'm like, okay, I need to get this particular thing done. I like kind of just start pacing, and I just kind of am thinking and pacing and thinking and pacing. And I think um that helps, that just out for some reason that just kind of helps me process my thoughts or organize my thoughts like very easily. I'm sure like, when I'm on the phone and I'm talking to somebody trying to like if I'm working on a project, collaborative project, and I'm on
Mhm.
the phone, I'm on FaceTime or whatever, I'm making people dizzy because I'm just like walking in circles, like you know what I mean on FaceTime. But um I think like, I don't know if it's just like the physical, just like moving around and trying to think and process something at the same time that kind of helps my brain work, you know. But I think personally that's kind of how I kind of connect to that.
Yeah, movement is definitely medicine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say, you know how they say everybody goes to the gym and they gotta get that little bug out their system.
Yeah.
I kind of relate to that because when I go to the gym and I pace around or if I do a specific workout, you listening to music
Mhm.
and then you getting your creative juices out, and then at that moment you like, aha,
Mhm.
the idea is there.
Yeah.
So that's why I understand. I completely understand
Yeah.
where you coming from.
And that moment's so great when you
Yeah.
figure something out and you're like you find a solution, or you find that little like, say if you like, for me, right, say if I'm like trying to work out how a certain video should go or how certain like sketch could be, and then I'm like I figure out what's the magic little like moment that could make the whole thing work. I'm like, and it just blows your mind. You're like, okay, this is gonna be the greatest thing ever.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's like it's great. It's great. I definitely agree with that. So what's something that you've created, whether that be photo, video, any, piece of art, music, whatever, that you've made that means the most to you, even if no one has necessarily seen it?
I do have something that comes in mind
Okay.
of all the many photos that I've taken, both in film and digital. There's this one photo from film that sticks out to me most. At the moment, the instructor, the professor, assigned that we look for motion and public space. That was our assignment for the week, to try to capture public photography is a thing. And so in New York, my photo walk journey, there was a man who was sleeping in Central Park, and he had this perfect hair, perfect chiseled jaw. He looked like Superman. And he was taking a rest, a snooze right there. And the moment of stillness, the way the sun beamed on his face, the fact that he wasn't awake to see me, I snapped the photo. And so to me, that is the best photo that I have taken. It sticks out to me. I don't have it in digital format. It's something that I should consider scanning. But the beauty of it is that it was made via film. And so it kind of has this scarcity to it. It matters a lot to me.
Yeah, most definitely. That, I mean, I'm sure. that person would appreciate that photo somewhere. It sounds like you really appreciate it. I'm sure he'll look and be like, when was this? Where was this? Hold on a second.
Why did she take a picture of me?
Right.
For me, I haven't done music in so long, so I would say my first song that I actually did.
Okay.
I can't find it at all, but I do remember it.
Okay.
And I do remember the emotions I was feeling at that moment. I was going through love.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're a high schooler, you're going through love, your
Classic.
first little petty love, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I just wrote about how I actually felt at that moment. And that takes me back to a time when I was in high school and I'm like, what was I doing then? Why did I feel this way? And it makes me, that's one of the important things that I look at now. Like, it's like, I wish I could break it down and actually get it produced properly.
Mm-hmm.
Because now I can depict it and be like, okay, I would change this. I would change that. I don't really want to change how the hook is. Like, all those things come to my mind. You know, thinking of coming to this podcast, it kind of brought me back to that time. Because I'm like, I have a song out there.
Yeah. Is it out there somewhere?
It's out there, but it's not like to the public. It's like when I did it with a group of friends in school, and I know he has it. And today I'm like, wait a minute. That song is out there. I just don't know where's it at. And I want to hear it again because I actually want to sit back and actually like, this is how young Rahmeek was listening. This is how he was sounding. This is what he was thinking at this moment. And that's one of those things. But photography, one of my favorite photos that I have taken so far is actually of my wife graduating college.
Sweet.
Yeah. It was one of those things of actually knowing the person that you want to be with for the rest of your life with.
Mm-hmm.
And you just celebrating their accomplishment. You know, sometimes people don't get the opportunity to actually see the accomplishment of their significant other, their friends, because something either happens or something blocks the barrier. So seeing her happy, actually smiling, actually enjoying her day, there's no carefree in the world. Like, it was just amazing to me. So me just taking that picture, and I look back sometimes, like I look back and I'm like, you was actually really happy here. Like, you accomplished something that nobody in your family ever have done. You know, so that's a kudos to her. So
shout out to her.
Shout out.
Shout out to Nat. She might not. No, she might see this, but shout out to her. I was telling her yesterday she did a lot for me so far from where I got like far in life right now. When she first met me, I was also somebody who was in a dark place. So music at that time was helping me, but also having her kind of fuel the, hey, go do photography. That's something you love about. And she invested in me a lot. So it was just like music, photography. I got the two best things in my life right now. On top of that with her. So it's just like, this is amazing to actually go on this journey. Mm-hmm. And actually she knows you love music, you love kids, you love photography. Like, let's hone in on that and let's continue growing on that so that the seeds could be planted so that you can spread this out to everybody else. So shout out to her.
Yo, sounds like you're a lucky guy.
I mean, some would say, I am a really lucky guy.
Yeah.
I would say that I'm really lucky.
Yeah, found someone you can help you grow with, you know?
Isn't that all what we looking for in life? Somebody to grow with, also keep your passion, you know? Like that, I think that's the biggest thing. Keeping your passion alive with that significant other, or actually teaching them the passion that you have. And then y'all growing together to like explore different avenues of how to share it to other people.
Most definitely.
I have a question for Jen. So you love clouds. You know, we talk about this on the side of it, right? What is your favorite genre of photography that you like doing or have done already?
I love photographing families, portraits of people I think matter to me, but specifically families with children. Only because children are fleeting, they grow fast. The days are long and the years are short. So I think that parents at the moment, it's kind of like, I'm parenting, but it's not until the years pass where it's just like, my child has grown so much. And so family portraits, it's one of my favorites. And plus, I appreciate kids. They're kids. Sometimes I get comments where like, oh, I'm sorry that my child is running around, but we want to capture them running around. We want to capture them in their essence, right? So it's a pleasure. Thank you for asking.
Danny.
Most definitely.
I have a question for you now.
Oh, okay. All right. Yo,
I know.
Now you're the host. All right. The tables have turned.
Yeah, no, you know, this is a good conversation. I really enjoy this because it's like sometimes when you get into a space like this, you can actually have these conversations that you really can't have with somebody else that don't understand it so much, right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to videography or videos itself, what is something that you really would like to express out to everybody when you actually editing? Like, what is that like? Okay, I want them to see this for this, not because I just recorded you and you wanted this.
So I think it really depends on the project. You have to be very intentional with how you portray something. Like say for example, right? I did a project for a friend of mine where he had a few different shots, a few different scenes, and by the end of us cutting and making the final cut, there were like a bunch of different versions of this one video because when you're making a video, you're seeing footage that like over and over again. And so like, for example, I see like footage of maybe like you sitting down at a chair, like sipping some wine or something, right?
Right.
And then so like I'm seeing you sip this wine over and over and over again. So maybe I can like you have to think about if someone's looking at a certain project or a certain video with fresh eyes, what are they going to see first, right?
Mhm.
Or what are they going to be able to recognize? I'm going to recognize that maybe the bottle of wine that you have is significant in some certain way, but someone who has not seen the video before, who's not watched this one clip of you, drinking this wine 1,000 times, because when you're editing, that's just kind of what happens. You have to think about like how okay, like if I'm playing this only for like this amount of time, maybe they might not catch that right away. So it's trying to keep a balance of what you know of the footage already, but also what how other people are going to recognize it, how other people are going to perceive this. You have to be very intentional with what or how you're portraying it. And depending on, like, to answer your question, you saying like what do you want them to see, it's like I said, it's like whatever the message of like the video is, whatever the story of the video is, you want to try your best to convey it so anyone can really follow it cleanly and concisely, and sometimes it's harder than you would think, so it's again, not really. I feel like I'm kind of dodging the question a little bit.
No. You dodging it, but you actually answering it at the same time.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird because it really depends on what you're working on. Because you could have something very. Because a lot of the projects I've had a lot of fun with, right? And this also kind of like turns into like the question I was asking, which was like, what's like a very important piece of like something you've worked on that that's important to you. And so like for me, it was like a lot of the stuff that I've done with my friends that are just stupid. It's smart, but it's like stupid stuff, like stupid skits or whatever. And like my friend, he turned he had a birthday, and so he wanted to shoot this video where he woke up one day and he had a wig, and all of a sudden like he was an old man, and he was like playing shuffleboard and like doing all this stuff. It was just like so stupid, but with something like that, the message, I guess, or like the purpose of that is just kind of to me it's silly, right? But then you also have like you hope that you can cut it in a way that everyone else has as much fun as it was creating that thing. Because like when you're actually like editing a video, right? And especially with a video you're passionate about, you're having a great time, you're looking at this footage, I'm just like laughing at my sides because he looks so stupid. You want to try to convey that to whoever's watching as well, right? So you have to, so you kind of have that responsibility when you're an editor. You have the responsibility that to take all the hard work that everyone has done in pre-production to finish it in post, or to make it look good in post, because ultimately you're the last line of defense before anyone receives your art or receives kind of like the creation that you've made, right? I guess to put a little bow on it, I guess the message I would like to receive is like, I want whatever video that I'm watching, I want whoever is going to receive it to feel like I'm feeling as I'm editing the video. Like if I'm having a fun time editing the video, then it's like I want them to have as much fun as I am, right? And I have to do my best to convey that into someone, even if it's someone's not who's like completely media literate, or you know what I mean? Like to be able to easily convey that to them so they can have as much fun. Or if it's something more of a serious project, then it's like I'm feeling like, oh wow, this is like a lot of like really heavy. I try to, maybe cut that certain video in a way where it's impactful. You know what I mean? So yeah. So I guess that's the answer.
I like that. Another question for both of y'all.
Okay.
For both of y'all. When you are doing your class, right? And I'm really interested about this, right? What are some of the assignments that you actually give to your students? Like when you do photography, and the only reason I'm asking you this, is it more pertaining to mental health, or is it just like everyday adventures?
I'm glad you asked. Every workshop is different. In general, I try to strive for what I was taught. And so I was taught in a way where you are assigned something specific. And so now look for that, whether it's composition, whether it's light, whether it's motion. So I give them an assignment and their task is to seek it. Sometimes when you think about a yellow car, all you see is a yellow car.
Mm-hmm.
And so same thing with photography. I think teaching them step by step, brick by brick, what composition is has been most effective. And that is with youth. However, I did have the pleasure of running this group with an adult men grief workshop. And I was able to tie it up with mental health. And so we were using some compositions of photography relating to grief. And so it is definitely possible to tie in photography and mental health. I've done it. And I'm eager to see in what other ways I might be able to do that.
I like that. Now for Danny.
So just repeat the question just like that.
No, I'm gonna give you a different question because I gave it.
It.
So my question to you is: you do let any youth from the Great Falls come in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what is the best reaction that you have seen so far when they come here, other than coming on the mic and actually hearing their voice? What is something that you actually see in their reaction that is like, wow, what I'm doing right now is actually going to affect their life moving forward?
So I have two examples, right? And
Okay.
it kind of has to do with the same kind of group of students. So I had a couple students from the Compete for Life program at John F. Kennedy High School come in last year, right? And it was new people to the podcast, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was, I think, I'm trying to think of the names. Amani, Kayla, Steven, and there was someone else. I know I'm going to kick myself for forgetting. But so I had these students come in and they were talking about just like, movies, TV shows, stuff like that. I think we were talking about like horror movies and stuff. And there was a student that was who tagged along just to kind of spectate the recording session. And it was me and the person and the staff member from Compete for Life talking to the two students. And so eventually the student who was kind of shy, didn't really want to do it, like was in the back seeing the conversation. And she ended up I tagged out because she wanted to come in. She was like, wait a second, I have something to say. So I got up. I'm like, all right, I'll go back there. You sit down at the table. And she kind of sat there and they had a great conversation. That was a good amount of time they were conversating, right? So, and at the end of that, everyone was kind of super happy and excited about the conversation we just had and stuff. So I was like, okay, I'm seeing the gears turn, of they have experienced this, and now this is something in their brain as a possible path to walk down, or at least getting some experience public speaking, or having their opinions and being able to voice them clearly and whatnot. And so later on, this is the second part, we ended up doing on the podcast, we have interviews with the Department of Community Affairs, the podcast does in general, right? We have sometimes Bob Garachi, the CEO, and Eddie Gonzalez, they would both come in and they would interview someone from the department, the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs, right? And one of their podcasts, what we ended up doing is we hosted Lieutenant Governor Taisha Way. I think this was last year, and they wanted students to come in to ask questions, to ask their questions to Lieutenant Governor, and this was around voting season. And so, they also wanted to talk about the importance of voting and all that too. So they came in here. They were asking they told me hey, Danny, we need some students who are well spoken and whatnot, and who can do this podcast. And so, it literally was maybe a week or two after that podcast I just told you about was hosted. I'm like, hey, do you guys want to come back and do this podcast, right? And they were they were down. They were super nervous about it. But when the day came, we prepared them as much as we could. When the day came, they did fantastic. They were super proud of themselves. It was a great time. And that was definitely probably, as far as when I think of successful podcasts,
right,
I think that one is probably the top, successful podcast, at least when it comes to the youth, because, obviously this is something they prepared for a lot. They were definitely nervous about, but they sat down, they did their thing, and they did a great job, And so you could tell that was the attitude that they had when when everything was like all said and done. Because like what happened was is like the like Bob and Eddie and the other person from DCA sat down first. They introduced the podcast, and then they stood up. The students came. They were sitting over here on these chairs over here, and they stood up, took over the chairs, and they were just sitting down with the lieutenant governor. And then at the end, after they did their thing, I saw them come back. I saw everybody switch again. They sat down over here with just smiles on their faces. Like you could tell they knew they did a good job and that they were happy about their performance and whatnot. So that was another moment where I was like, okay, like I like, again, it's just, you see the gears turning, and it's great to see.
I'm glad y'all moved into that. That's nice to hear.
Yeah. What a pleasure it is to see the seeds that you plant grow.
Right.
Yeah, was definitely. And I hope, and now some of those students are like, I think have graduated now, at least some of them. And so I hope hopefully one day to see what they grew into,
Yeah.
So
that's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Thank you for your questions though. Do you have any, I don't know if you have any more you want?
No. I mean, it's going to come sooner or later, but I'm just, right now the gears is turning because of where we talking. The reason why I ask all these questions is because the journey to get into where we at is all different, but it also comes back to aligning to each other.
Yeah.
Photography, you love videography. I love music and photography. And I think it's important that when it comes to the youth that they have this platform to actually take photos, be on a podcast. It's just similar to what you just said right now, seeing their faces, their reaction, because they don't understand that it's important to voice your opinion. And it's important to be in the now, not the future, because the future is going to come. The now is present.
Yeah.
So it's nice to hear all these things. And, for somebody who's actually going to watch this, I want them to understand, like, look, your journey might not be where you want it is right, like where you want it at right now, but it's going to get there. And if these little tools and tidbits that we give y'all, photography, videography, you look into it and be like, I might be passionate about that. I might not want to go to college, but I will learn how to do a beat, listen to music, to edit a photo or even edit videos. Maybe I could turn that to a passion of mine and then turn it to a job. And we all want our job to be our passion. 100%. Eventually. Am I right or wrong?
Yes.
Okay. So that's something I wanted them to understand and hear. I mean, I'm big on when it comes to youth because I love the youth. I feel like they're the future. But sometimes they get in their own way.
Yeah.
We all, am I right?
Yeah.
So sometimes when they get in their own way, they need something to branch out.
Yeah.
And this is a platform. This is something that they can branch out and actually voice their opinion. 100%. And it's very important. And I'm glad. Thank you.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah. And thank you for like sharing that too. And it was crazy too with especially the youth, or just maybe it was just people in general. It's just like when I see those happy smiles too, I realize some people, they don't even know they have passions, or they don't even know what their passions are. They don't even know like their passions exist. So like when they're able to do something like this, and they have opportunities to do something with music, or just something with photography, or something with podcasting, right? Like, that's when some light bulbs like are turning on in their minds, and then that's like, something that not everyone is able to get.
Right.
So it's, it's always a great time. So you guys are doing great work.
Thank you. And it reminds me of NJ4S, right? We provide these resources, these opportunities for youth, families to get to know themselves a little bit more so that they can help themselves be happy and healthy.
Yeah.
I agree with that. NJ4S is definitely, it's groundbreaking and changing. We go to these schools, we see most of the youth, and we walk out with a sense of accomplishment. And it's because for 45 minutes to an hour or even 2 hours, we are with the youth. And they look at us and be like, don't leave. We laugh. Yeah. But it's like you are feeling what we are, you are receiving what we giving to y'all.
Yeah.
And that is more important than actually sitting in front of a crowd and talking, or what they would call it, preaching, because that's what my little brother would say. You preaching to me right now. Oh, yapping. I don't need you to preach to me. I just need you to listen and give me advice. But for them to receive it and receive the information and be like, don't leave, it's so self-gratifying that it's like, oh my God, like I do want to come back. Yeah. I do want to see your progress from when we started to the end, or what you could become. So it is really nice. And that's why I love NJ4S so much. It gives us different avenues to connect with different students. different staff members, network with different people, because you see the end result. Everybody's on the same common level, some common ground, might be different departments.
Yeah.
But we all got the common goal of making sure the youth have an outlet, and their mental health is important.
Yeah, most definitely.
Absolutely.
And something I'll throw this last question to you guys, but it's kind of similar. So for those youth, or for youth that are maybe listening right now, what advice do you want to give to them about creative outlets and how they can use that to kind of better their lives, better their passions?
Yeah, I would say optimize your community, right? Whether it be with a service like us, NJ4S, where we teach you these tools necessary, whether it be taking advantage of the workshops that are in your community, whether it's maybe downloading Spotify or Apple for free, right? Taking control of your mental health, right? Or at least trying. And overall, just believing in yourself and your passion. The reason I love my role is because representation, when people see themselves in you, it shows that they too are possible, right? They too have potential to fulfill the things that they desire, right? So representation matters to me. Always seek guidance, and just know that life is what you make of it, but there is help.
Yeah.
I would say be the voice of the voiceless. That's what I always say. And the reason why I say that is because somebody else in this world might be going through something and you do not know. Mm-hmm. And your creative outlet on a certain topic or a common ground of music can change somebody's life. Mm-hmm. And that creative output that you put out there, it might hit to the masses, and it might go to Australia, or it might go to New Zealand, or wherever it needs to be at.
Yeah. And
you don't know how that's going to change somebody's life. We can impact somebody's life in a quick seconds, saying how you doing, mm-hmm. what type of music you like. Yeah. You love photography, you love videography, and you could sit down and have a conversation and it changed their whole life. So making sure you understand, like, I want them to understand, and I want older youth to understand, you are the voice of the voiceless, because what you may say is what the other person want to say. Yeah. But they don't have the courage enough to actually say it. And eventually they will have the courage enough to say it and actually be that person, become that person. Proper preparation permits poor performance. That's something I always learned. Yeah. And that's something I always keep. So when you prepare to be the best person and the best version of yourself, you can't perform poorly. And you will also see these seeds and, mindset change over time. And for you to know that you're worth it, you are here and you can accomplish, it means a lot. So just remember that.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah. And ultimately try new things, right?
Right.
You don't know what you don't know until you try it. And so encouraging youth to just go out there and try it. You might like it.
Did it, when you tried on photos, was it hard for you?
It was very difficult, especially with analog time.
Oh man.
Yeah. Very. It was very difficult, but very much worth it.
And the same for video. Was it hard when you first all right, I'm actually going to sit down?
It could be overwhelming for sure, looking at all the tools and stuff. But once you kind of get a groove and you kind of figure out what's going on, like your mind, like I said, it opens up,
And that's something. So for anybody hearing this, it doesn't take the first try. It can take the second try. It can take the third try. But eventually you'll get it done. And you will fall in love with the passion that you give it.
Yeah. And something else I want to add on to that, especially when you're first doing something creative, it's so easy for your first instinct to make something perfect and to try to I don't want to release this video because I need to do this, that, and the other. Oh, I don't like this. Let me try to do this. Right. And eventually what happens is you never release it. You never do anything with that creative outlet. You never do anything with that passion. So, everybody's creative journey, their first work is never their best. You know what I mean? And so it's like, you have to go into understanding with that. And just create, just make something, just have something exist, Yeah.
My mom always said, your cup of tea may not be my cup of tea. And his cup of tea might not be your cup of tea. So whatever you feel like you want to give out to everybody and share with everybody, it's going to eventually hit somebody.
So long we're drinking tea.
As long as we're drinking tea. And as long as you're doing something positive, it's going to get to where it needs to be at.
Yeah.
And everybody's path does not have to be the same.
100%.
I agree.
Well, I think that's it for our conversation today. Thank you so much, guys, for coming on. I think this was fantastic.
Yeah.
I love having you guys here and having this conversation. And hopefully I'll see you guys again soon.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.